Welcome back to Heart of Carolina Perspectives. Durham Companions seeks to brighten the future of young men and women by giving them a consistent and positive relationship with an adult. Joining us now to talk more about mentoring in Durham are Della Owens-Autry, Executive Director of Durham Companions, and Brian Leach, a mentor for the organization. Thank you both for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Della, tell us a little bit about Durham Companions.
Durham Companions has been in existence for over 20-some years. It started under Governor Hunt's administration and efforts to avoid sending young people to Youth Development Center, that he would match them with an adult in the community and change that behavior, and it has been working. Since then, it has changed those criteria. 6% of our kids are court referral, and the other 40% of our kids come from either a parent, a teacher, school counselor that may think that their child can benefit from our services. So over 20-some years it's been doing this, and actually I guess I should give credit to when it was really birthed through the Marianne Black's effort of the volunteer companionship program, and then when it was actually incorporated as a nonprofit organization, they changed the name to Durham Companions.
But tell us how important the need is. How many kids are there right now waiting for a mentor?
The need is great. Currently we have like 25 to 27 kids on our waiting list, and constantly getting referrals in every day because we're finding that there is a great need for our young people. So we have 25 kids waiting on our waiting list, and because we are a state agency, we are required to at least mandate and have and monitor 34 matches every year.
Okay. They're waiting for people like Brian Leach, who have stepped up to the plate and gotten involved in this mentoring program. How did you get involved, and what all does it take?
Well, it just takes a little bit of your time, and you don't know what one thing you might say to a kid or might do with a kid. It might change his perspective on life. It had to do nothing to be big or anything like that, but just something simple, and he might say, well, I want to be like this person or be like that person, to a positive, make the community more positive for them. So it's really rewarding. I mean, I say for anybody that wants to be a mentor or think about mentor, go ahead and do it, because it's well worth it.
A lot of people will hesitate. They want to volunteer, but they feel like they don't even have enough time for their own families and their own lives. How much time do you spend?
I have two boys and a married wife, and you can spend 2 hours. There's a minimum of 2 hours, but you can spend a whole lot more time than 2 hours. I mean, really 2 hours ain't enough, because the time you spend is well worth your time, I think.
And tell us, who can be a mentor?
Anyone that is at least 18 years of age, and we do a criminal background check, driving history check. We ask that you fill out the volunteer application, which you can get from our website. And after that, in the application, we ask for 4 referrals, and we have to notify those 4 referrals and check those out. And that's basically it. And the requirement is mostly a big heart, just to be willing to commit and give back those 2 hours to save a life. And that's what I'm saying now. It's really 2 hours that we're talking about in saving the life of a young person.
And we're talking 2 hours a week, and that's not always, sometimes you said just a phone call can help.
Exactly. If there's times when we find that a lot, particularly during the summertime when kids were away from camp and all the family reunions and vacations were going on, we said make sure you just maintain contact, send a card, now email, and just call them, checking in to see how you're doing, how's school, are there any issues going on that we need to talk about. And that's really the issue, just being there for that child. Consistency, and that's what we're saying. We need consistency in their lives. And so, yes, and I always say too, try to incorporate it with something that you are currently doing. If you're going to be washing your car, if you're going to be going to the mall, just invite them to go along with you, because that is the time to really bond and spend time together.
What are some differences that you've seen in a young child's life? Brian, let's talk about the mentoring, the children that you've worked with, the child that you've worked with.
Avion was my first mentee, and he was really kind of within himself. He wouldn't talk much and stuff like that, and he was with a household full of girls. He had 2 sisters and a mother, and so I was only his real male figure. And we would, we don't have to do nothing big or expensive. You just go to a movie, or like just go to the park and hang out, and do go to trails and stuff like that. And he kind of, as the years progressed, he kind of opened up a little more of that and found a little bit more about him. And it helped him in his schoolwork too. He was more outgoing by the time I got done with him. So I think that's just a big part, is that they have an outlet to kind of express themselves, in a positive way.
So some of the kids who need help may just be someone like the child you were working with who had no male figure in his life. Tell us about some of the other kids, their situation, and why it's important to match them up with a mentor.
Some of the kids have made some minor mistakes with law enforcement. As I said, 60% of the kids are court referral. And so they may have had some minor misdemeanors, and those court counselors contact our office to work with these kids. Some of them that comes from the school are getting suspended for fighting, talking back in class to teachers, just having being rebellious to parents. And parents tend to see that behavior and know that they're now on a path of destruction, will call our office. So it's different behaviors, but it's mostly just that acting out and just needing some guidance and helping to make the best choices and better choices for their lives. And that's what mentors can provide. Being in a relationship, being a friend. We say we are friends, helping youth find their way. And that's what it is. It's a difference, I always kind of say, to talk about our mentors as a brother and a sister, because I think as brothers and sisters we feel responsible for our siblings, but when you just say a friend, you're choosing your friends and you're volunteering, giving back to them, they see that, and that's what makes that difference in their lives.
And speaking of brothers and sisters, you were telling me before the show that you also support other agencies. If for some reason someone doesn't get connected with Durham Companions, you would at least, like, as long as they volunteer with someone and help another child.
Exactly. I think that is the thing, the key for us is to make the community more aware of the need for mentoring. There's a great need across the city of Durham that we be involved and be civic-minded of our responsibility to really give back to these needy youth, because again, it is really about saving their lives and helping them understand what they do will affect them in the future if they don't make better choices. So I solicit the help of the community to get involved, not with Durham Companions, hopefully you will, but there's such a great need for mentors, and it's just what we did when we were kids in our neighborhoods, the old-timey way, just helping someone from your own life experiences to say, I did that and you don't want to do that, so go this way. And they need that positive voice.
As the saying goes, it takes a village, really, these days. Well, and also our area is growing so quickly. Taxes go up. It costs so much to live around the area and to care for kids. And unfortunately, there are a lot of single parents out there, too. So that makes it even harder for a single mom or a single dad to really keep their kids in line while really just struggling to provide for the household. Do you see that as one of the problems, too, that the parents face and the kids end up acting out?
Exactly. A lot of my referrals that I get from parents, sometimes it's that they recently have separated or they've gotten a divorce and they need a male figure in their lives. I don't know, last year we were featured in the Herald Sun, and it's a great story. I always like to tell it about Eric, who never had a male role model in his life until he was matched with a mentor because his father was incarcerated. So a lot of times the fathers are out of the home because of that, and they need a male figure. And mothers, as a female, it seems to be very challenging to help raise their child by themselves. So mentors have really contributed, and that changed the life for Eric to say, now I want to go to college like my mentor.
And let me ask you, Brian, as a mentor, as a volunteer, what do you get out of it? And is it just as rewarding for you as it is for the kids?
It's really priceless, because we see that smile on that kid's face for if you do something with him that or give him an opportunity to do something that he has never had an opportunity to do before, and you get to show that to him. I mean, that's reward is just great, and just getting the feedback from them, you know, as showing them the better way to go. It's really rewarding. I've enjoyed it. I've done it for 3 years now, and I've just enjoyed it immensely.
And do you stay with the same child, or do you take on other children?
You're matched for 1 year, and that's what we do, because I think that what makes Durham Companions successful is that it is a consistent long period of time. Some organization may be a shorter period of time, but we want to match them in that relationship for 1 year. And if they are court referred, it's pretty kind of mandated that they do that. So it's for 1 year, but you can renew for a second year. And so mentor some of them, bonding in that relationship. And again, if they're friends, you don't really just say, with my year, see you later, but it is an ongoing relationship. It may not be a, quote, Durham Companions match, but they'll still continue to keep in contact with each other. But it is for 1 year, 2 hours a week.
Okay, and hopefully
they initiate it, and then you kind of, like you said, keep that bond going on. You know, don't have to stop right there at that 1 year. here. I mean, I think that's a lot of people think they'll get involved with somebody and then, well, I got to stop, and a lot of people don't like doing that, but they just, I think Durham Companions gets that initiation going and then it continues on.
And hopefully building lifelong relationships
absolutely.
that end up changing these young lives. Well, thank you both for joining us, Brian Leach and Della Autry of Durham Companions. For more information, you can go to durhamcompanions.org.